My family was born in Iraq, and this is how we sign Iraq up here on the head. Um, but I was actually born in Saudi Arabia because of the Gulf War. So, if you know Saddam Hussein, that whole war that happened, we ended up fleeing. So I was born in Saudi Arabia for that reason. When I moved here, I was 6, and then I finally was able to go to a deaf school at that time in Detroit. I think it was about 7 or 8, somewhere around there. And I remember when I went into elementary school, there were a lot of deaf people just everywhere signing. It was so overwhelming. I was curious. I was fascinated with what everybody was saying, what everybody was doing. But I didn't pick up just like that. I did learn pretty quick, but I asked a lot of questions of what does this mean? What does this mean? What is that? And, just to learn and figure out what was going on. I did a lot of studying, memorization. And I remember people looking at me while I was trying to sign, and I felt proud, like I fit in with the deaf community. And just because I remember in the other country, in Saudi Arabia, I felt very isolated, very alone, because I could not communicate at all with my parents, with my other family members. I just could not communicate. I was always by myself. Even though I was with them, I would play, but there was no communication. I was very alone. I'd ride my bike. That's pretty much what I did. Well, I've been to Iraq a few times since. I finally met one other guy there. It's very strange because they're deaf. The way that the deaf sign there are very different. So trying to communicate is very hard. Like when you're communicating with hearing people, it's easier because you can have your phone ready. You can use a translation app, whatever. Sometimes you can physically communicate, gestures, body language, whatever. You can kind of figure it out. But when you've got 2 deaf people, I was trying to show using my body language, like here for an example, fly. But he didn't understand me when I would gesture though. So he'd just kind of look at me. And you could tell he was trying to figure it out, but no matter what effort, he just kind of nodded but I could tell he wasn't getting it. So I would keep trying and I would use different examples. And then I realized that, you know what? Now I know what, because him being deaf, he was not educated. So I realized that here, I live in America. I've been here for so long that I've had education and I've had all of this schooling and everything. I've had interpreters. I've had access to language, phones, writing. I have language, but he is deaf. He does not have that language. He did not grow up with it like I did. He was never educated. So that makes me feel bad.
You said your wife is from Iraq as well, and her family. How does your wife's family feel about you being a deaf person? So your wife is hearing?
Yes. I'm a broken man. Many, many times, here and in Iraq, both, many people ask my wife about me. Like when my wife had told everyone that I am deaf, all of them are hearing like, "Oh, really? Oh, we're heartbroken for you. We can't believe he's deaf." And my wife just looks at him in shock, like, "No, like there's no reason for that. We can communicate. We're fine. We use ASL. We support each other. We help each other." But the hearing perspective on that is that I am a broken man. And I don't quite understand that. I mean, I have a job. I can drive. I have a house. I can pay my bills. I mean, we have 2 children. So what else do we need? What else do you need me to do to prove that I'm not broken? Like over and over and over again. And my wife is very frustrated about it too. So I I understand their perspective, that they're not educated about deaf or deaf culture, who deaf people are, that we have a language. They don't know that. They don't really understand. So basically, yes, I have 3 different cultures. Now, with the Iraqi culture, the American culture, and the deaf culture, really, they are all very different. And it's all very fascinating too. But I prefer the Iraqi culture because in Iraq, it's better because when I visit over there, so many people are on the road just coming and going. There's so much traffic. There's people saying hello to each other, very friendly. People are helping each other. They're giving away food for free, water for free, just really looking out for each other. They're helping kids. They're giving things to kids. And then all the people who go over there, there's so many different activities. There's the pool, how to even list them. There's just so many. But if you go to a restaurant, you can really just enjoy your time. Here in America, in our culture here, it's really quiet. It's more organized. For example, in America, you get up in the morning, you go to work. At 5 or 6, you get home. You rest, and then watch TV maybe, sometimes go to a restaurant, or, once or twice, maybe 3 times a month. I don't know. But you don't really go out. You don't go outside. You don't socialize with other people, really. You know what I mean? So you're in your home. That's where you stay. You stay in your own home away from other people. But when you go to Iraq, people are always out. Every day they go out and do things. But here in America, we're in our homes all the time. We're not socializing. When I get home, I get there and, there's no one outside playing. There's no one outside socializing. So to see that, and then comparing that to deaf culture, it's great because deaf people really can understand hearing, they can understand interpreters, and and then of course everybody's got a different parental situation. Deaf people really are hard workers because they are trying to communicate in all these different situations. And then in that culture, you're looking at where is the language from. Okay, so we have ASL. ASL provides the life purpose that we have. So if we didn't have ASL as deaf people here, we would still be a deaf person, but ASL really is a language. It's not something that's just made up. It's not gestures. It's a real language that we can use to communicate with each other when we go outside, when we see each other in the outside world.